take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, keep packing the air. We about to blow. This the basement. Ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the trade, yes and no, friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul. But when the ring is the goal, but if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes. Going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement. Going down in the basement.
Yeah! Welcome to the basement. As you can see, I'm surrounded by all white people. That means that's the reason why we starting on time. The boy feels like a hostage right now, but don't worry, I'm going to swing anyway. So I'm your host, Royal A. Shepherd, and I'm joined today by the rookies of the basement. We got my man Anthony DiNardo pulling double duty as both a panelist and the producer. So we appreciate him for doing that. We got my boy Stone Cold coming in here, one of the number one draft picks recently added to the basement. And of course, we got my boy from the down under, my boy George, pulling up one time for the one time. Sorry for your loss with the Queen.
That's all right.
But listen, everybody knows nobody has shit to talk about around this time of the year. But we got to put these shots up. The season coming around, training camp coming around. So this is the basement's training camp. So we're going to do something a bit different. I don't want to take the negative road today. I want to be positive, kind of. Or as positive as I can be. So I'm going to give each one of you an opportunity to tell me, what are you most looking forward to? Kind of like something positive. What are you most looking forward to as we reach the brink of training camp? And we're going to start with your positive ass first.
We'll play a little bit of role reversal today, man. Since you want to be all positive, I could be a little dark, man. Absolutely nothing, bro. What do we got to look forward to? This is the third year with the same exact roster we going. If anything, we got worse. So what do we? You know what? I know what I'm looking forward to. I am very curious to see if Jimmy pulls up the training camp day one with the dreads. I'm just curious how that's going to look. That's all I got, though. Other than that, they ain't got shit.
Okay, I like the little code switching a little bit that you got going on there, Ant Stone. My boy, tell me what you most looking forward to.
Man, I'm really excited to see if Vic Oladipo can get more involved in the offense, kind of create something for Bam. I mean, these guys just look so pathetic trying to get off the ball. He's the only guy that's got a little juice. He can make things, a little hectic for guys, collapse the lane, and let's see Bam be good for once. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the girl Holland Grossman has lost her motherfucking mind. Talk about the Heat finna finish in the top. I'm sorry. We being positive today. We are being positive today. Crocodile Dundee, my boy. Tell me what you're most looking forward to in the season.
Seriously, it's more like who out of everyone is going to get the 4 job next to Bam, because Bam's going to have to go up against whoever they're thinking of pairing him with, and he's going to destroy them all. So whatever's going to happen, who they're going to put next to Bam is going to figure. It's going to put tears in the eyes of fans, because that same player is going to have to go against players like Zion, players like Cat, and there's nothing positive. There's nothing happy about this. All right, we've got no 4. We don't even know who our 2 is going to be. If we're going to play Tyler, we're going to play Vic. We don't know anything. So this is more for Spo to figure out if he's actually one of the best coaches of all time. This is his time.
So let's dig into that a little bit, because Spo does have his work cut out for him. Like, of the current roster, no looking out into the world. We're going to come right back to you, George, since you brought it up. Who on this roster is starting at the 4? And I know this is a conversation that has been rehashed, but a lot of people have never heard your position on it, so I want to give them an opportunity to hear that.
It's Caleb. Out of everyone, let's be more realistic here. Who is Spo going to pick? It's going to be Caleb. It's got to be Caleb, or it's going to be Hayward Highsmith. That's it. But I have a feeling Caleb's earned the minutes, and he's going to think, you know what? Just chuck him in there, see how we're going to go for the start of the season.
Did you say Caleb?
Caleb Martin.
Yeah. Stone, who's starting at the 4 for the Heat?
Yeah, I'd like to see Omer Yurtseven, just because I've never seen a player score 100 points in my life, and I think it'd be cool to watch him do it against him.
So you want Omer playing the 4? I think if Omer starts, then he's going to be the 5, and Bam's going to be the 4.
You're just, it's like splitting hairs at that point. He's never going to start. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Okay.
For me, it's like, it's just all bad options. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. Like, there's no, I wish there was a way to dice it. I think, like, when it matters, it's probably going to be Jimmy, but that's just depressing as hell because that's our best scorer, and I want to see him on the wing. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
We got the girl Heather in here. She hit Caleb Martin slander, and she already on ass from the jump. So shout out to Heather. Defend your boy, but I'm gonna cook his ass if he go out there in the first 5. And tell me who you looking for to be our starting for come to beginning.
All right. Well, first I gotta address our guy Adam. Shout out Adam Borai, man. He said, "Go ask him where he's at right now, man." Listen, I kicked her out of the room just so I could do this stupid stream to talk about absolutely nothing except the question. Oh, look, here she is right now. You want to hop on or no? All right. Who do you want to start at before?
I don't know. Like,
never mind. It's gonna be. Listen, I see where y'all coming from, but and needs to upgrade his. That is so overplayed, Holland. Where have you been? That's why they got me and George, man. Just because we make each other's mustache look better. And was considering getting his hair braided like Tyler. You think I'm gonna do the Jeremy Lin? You crazy, my guy. Listen, it's gonna be Jimmy at the 4 because Strus has done nothing to lose his starting job, and I'm pretty sure Tyler is gonna cry if he don't get the starting job. So they're probably gonna slide Tyler at the 2, Strus at 3, and I think they're gonna put Jimmy at the 4 and run Bam at the 5. That's my prediction.
We're fucked if that happens.
But because they're gonna wear Jimmy's ass out during the regular season, if that's what happens. Can you call into the show?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and put up the graphic for us. And listen, this is a new feature that we only done once, and so we got the rookies on here, and I guess we'll let you guys do it. If you want to call into the show, and you gonna put up the graphic?
Yeah, I got it right.
Go ahead. If you would like to call into the show, ask us a question, get your own fucking takes off, then make sure you give us a call at 305-699-2045. That's 305-699-2045. If the line is busy, just text your name and location, and it will be added to the queue, and we'll make sure to kind of get you in here. So, we got my boy from the UK. What's happening? George, say what's up to your people, bro.
Get away from me. Stop. Don't let them do this to me anymore. You're the real British person. Get out. Run while you still can. They treat me like shit.
That is the guy. Uh-oh. Oh my God, bro.
Oh, there we go. That's the heat off season that we.
Bro, this has turned into a full-on shit show. Somebody please call in so that we can kind of get this back on the rails. I do, bro.
Wow, that's real bold of you to not have a profile.
She legit told me that she was going to do that on one of the streams, and I was just like, okay, bro, you go ahead. I'm gonna put that up. That really did just throw me off my game a little bit.
Oh, we got a call.
So, oh, we do have a call. Okay, put it on
mute. Filibuster for a little bit.
Oh, as y'all can hear, the boy Ant getting them together, trying to figure out whether or not we got any trolls in here. But no, let's throw this back to Stone. Stone, in all seriousness, bro, if Miami does end up going into this training camp with the idea that we're going to be starting Caleb Martin at the 4, bro, like how much additional, like how would the defense change in that regard? Because I know it has to change. He can't be used in the same way as PJ Tucker. Like, how do you envision the whole entire defense kind of like changing around that being our starting lineup?
I think it's going to be really matchup based. So there's going to be nights where it works out fine, but then you're just going to have power forwards that are so much bigger than him and just, like set records. It's going to be that. It's going to be one or the other. It'll either be, SPO defense, guys jumping lanes, they play good defense, or it's just going to be Caleb Martin getting back down from the 3-point line by Giannis.
That's what's up. And we good with the call in?
Yes, we have a Caleb on the line. Caleb, how you doing?
Caleb is doing well. Caleb just had a question for the dude on the bottom right. I was wondering how he was doing after his queen passed. He's okay.
We're living. We're doing fine, all right? We didn't need her anyway. It's fine. Fucking hell.
Oh, my God, bro.
Did not need her anyway.
Caleb, did you have another question that you wanted to ask the panel?
I just wanted to say I thought answered the question well about the starting four. I agree. I think Strus is going to start at the 3. I think Jimmy is going to start at the 4, at least to start the season. And I won't be making it through the season anyways because I will be offing myself. So they'll have fun with that.
Way to get us to monetize before you monetize, man.
Yo, listen, man. I have heard Caleb's voice a time or two, but that was only in the interviews that he did for the Miami Heat. Other than that, that is a complete stranger who I have never heard in my entire life. Caleb, thank you for calling, bro. We appreciate your time. If anybody else has a call that they want to kind of get in here, make sure you give us a call, 305-699-2045. And put it in the private chat once we get another call. George, I did want to ask you the same question that I was asking Stone. Like, considering the lineup or the personnel that we're bringing back, what is the most significant change that Miami's team is going to have to make?
Well, we had Pete. The biggest loss of the offseason was PJ. That's the really only big change that's happened from last season. So you got to figure out what we're missing. We're missing that tenacity, that defeat, the defensive prowess, that experience. We're missing all of that. What we're gonna have to figure out now is who's gonna not just fill his shoes, who's gonna dominate and is gonna make that spot their own. Because we've never had a power forward that is of adequate size to guard other power forwards in this league. When you're looking at players like teams like New Orleans, when they've got Zion, you've got teams in Memphis, got Jaren Jackson. These teams have proper size power forwards, and it's always been a matchup. What Stone said, a matchup based system. So, do we have to break the mold a little bit to give Jimmy a break? I think we have to, because Jimmy's always the one switching. They're going to get Bam switching, everything like that. That's why I believe Caleb will be in there, because when it came down to crunch time, Caleb was in there defending the smaller wings as well. But is he going to be able to take the job? I don't know. So we got to figure out who's going to defend at that high level without PJ there.
Yeah, I think defense is only one side of the ball that we focused on. But we saw a lot of problems with PJ at the 4 last year when Bam switching out onto the perimeter and kind of one of those smaller guys, or PJ specifically having to take on that role. It's going to get tougher for us to be able to sustain that without any additions. And do we have another call?
Yo, someone left a voicemail, right? And they're like, yo, I'm trying to call the basement. I got some good questions. So I called them right back. And they're like, they straight up said, who the fuck is this? I'm like, the basement? I'm like, you just called the basement? And he's like, I've never heard of that shit in my life. And then it wasn't Adam. You
should have sent them the link to the video. So in the meantime and in between time, I'll ask you this question. What's kind of the biggest adjustment that you see Miami having to make when they're essentially running it back without PJ?
Well, the biggest adjustment is having or being able to score without Jimmy on the floor. I think that comes down to Tyler and Vic, I guess, just because if Vic is healthy, he can provide a lot of that. But I don't know if y'all were talking about Tyler yet or whatnot, but obviously that's a pretty polarizing topic when it comes to Heat Nation. But I really honestly believe that he is in for a monster, almost all-star season, just because when you look at what he did as a sophomore or as a junior in this league, that is when you see the guy, that is when you can tell the stars from the bums. It's their 3rd season in the league. And his 3rd season in the league, he did the most that he possibly could. So I think he's going to have a huge jump, obviously give that scoring punch, whether it's off the bench or not. And that's the biggest adjustment that they need. And I think they're going to get it from him.
I ain't going to hold you, bro. I kind of blank out when you first started talking, but by the end of it, I knew you was talking about Tyler Herro. And when you started using the word star, fucking talking about Tyler Herro, bro, my blood started boiling. So let's throw that around a little bit. Like, what we're talking about a Tyler Herro leap. If Ant talking about Tyler finna be a fucking star. Stone, what type of leap do you see Tyler making? Like, do you see him taking another step forward as a more serviceable player? Like, being
absolutely
a serviceable starter?
So he's got one legit skill. He can make tough shots from range. He can step back, and he's got a legit skill there. He's a little lengthwise. He's short. He doesn't get inside very well. But I think those are things that come with more consistency and, being out there. And I think he's kind of in a tough spot because when he's on the court sometimes and they don't do this kind of staggered lineup or one of the guys are out, like he's not really playing with anyone. So he's got, whoever the best defender is on the court. I might as well be Fred. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a hopeless, debate. Like, people either hate him or love him, and the people that love him way too much, and the people that hate him, I get it, but I don't know. I'm cool with him just being, Mr. Fuckboy off the court. He can be my hero that way. He can be my goat. Knock up all the models in Miami, and I'll build a statue of him right outside AAA.
I heard something going on back there, bro. You still screening call? Just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. You don't really have to talk.
Let me tell real quick. The callback thing is not working. I literally got a message that said, "This is LJ calling to speak my truth," and the same thing happened. I called the number back, and they had no idea who I was. That being said, the line is open. So if you call while we on here, we can go ahead and take you on. So the line is open. Go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie. Even the people watching here don't know who you are, bro. So that's not completely like that. Could be a person looking for the basement. They just have no earthly idea who the fuck you are. George, all of you are white. George, let's talk about Tyler Herro a little bit.
His biggest skill, in all honesty, is putting Twitter posts up saying "keep that energy, keep that energy." it's the biggest waste of time I've ever seen trying to negotiate with him. The biggest leap he's going to do is wherever he gets traded to, he's going to, he can leap over there. It pisses me off. He can't defend at a high enough level to start him, consistently. His scoring's great, but when you put him in the starting lineup, he's going to have the same effect as he did after coming off the bench. I don't think so. And irregardless of all that, the biggest problem with Tyler is his offense in the playoffs. It falls off. 9 and 12 points consecutive playoffs. How are you supposed to trust the guy and put him in the starting lineup if when it comes to the postseason, you're going to have to bench him because he's not playing well enough? I don't know. I don't know with Tyler.
So I'm expecting a reasonable increase in Tyler's production. It is what it is. Like, he's kind of made it. He's earned the right to be given a chance at the starting lineup. And so I think he's going to get that chance. How will that impact our team with a starting lineup of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Herro, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo? I don't see that being improvement over last time's roster. Our defense is going to get significantly worse, but there is a chance that our offense might get better. I mean, he does open up shit. I don't know Stone Cold Steve Austin, though. Oh, Stone? Look, we ain't got time to sit up here and introduce people, but I do kind of want to move along. I do kind of want to move along with some other players in here. We all know Bam is kind of like the defensive anchor of the defense. Who's going to be kind of that second guy for Bam, like to kind of help him on that side of the ball? We thought it would be like it was PJ last year. Jimmy's kind of like what he is, but when Jimmy misses games, a lot of that responsibility falls onto Bam, and PJ was able to alleviate some of that last year. And who's going to be that second guy that Bam can kind of rely on a night in, night out basis on the defensive side of the ball?
Listen, if Caleb Martin does end up starting at the 4, do not sleep on that man's defensive potential. I know he's probably like what, 6'4", 6'5", but he's quick, he's athletic, he could jump, he's smart, he has defensive IQ. Honestly, they're gonna suck if he starts at the 4. I don't know why I'm trying to hype him up like that, bro. I don't know, bro. They lost PJ. Nikola Jovic weighs as much as my left nut. What do you want me to tell you, man? They don't got no one. They don't got no one. That's coming from me, bro. That's coming from the positive one, bro. They don't got nothing.
I don't want to say nothing, bro. Like, I don't want to say nothing. They got the best coach in the league, bro. Like, they have Spo, and I do believe Spo can be able to cook up something to kind of help. That's a big No, but listen, bro, they do have the best coach in the league, and I do believe Spo could potentially find some way to make this serviceable. I mean, shit, he got 30 and 11 out of Dion Waiters and James Johnson. I'm sorry. Like, is there something that we're missing here, George? Like, is there something that we're all being pessimistic about kind of what it is, but are we missing something that could potentially be a huge find for Miami in this upcoming season?
As much as I'm not the biggest culture nut, I believe it is what it is. There is a big culture, is a supportive culture in Miami, and the biggest thing that we do and the best thing we do is we develop talent that where otherwise no one would see it. That's when players come to our team and they perform like they never did before. Wayne Ellington had career years when he was with us. James Johnson was productive again. We did, these are just some of the players. With players like Haywood Highsmith, Darius Days who came in, this is who they're going to try and coach up into taking one of these roles, taking the impact that PJ had and trying to facilitate it into other players. That's what they're going to try and do. So with Caleb Martin, he's even Caleb Martin's taller than PJ, so that's what they're hoping on. But at the same time, I'm struggling to see where they're going to get that outbreak of talent from. But maybe we don't know about Darius Days enough. Maybe we don't know about Hayward Highsmith enough. Maybe they are good. Maybe they'll be the perfect answer at the 4, but we won't know until the season starts.
No, for sure. I disagree entirely, but I mean, look, whatever. Ed said we got a caller. Ed, who's this caller that you speak?
Yeah, we got a caller. Caller, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, this is Amaya.
Oh my God, bro! What do you want, Borai?
I have a question that I want to ask the guy who picked up the phone. What's his name?
Yeah, what's up?
Go ahead.
What team do you think surprisingly won't make the Eastern Conference playoffs?
You know, that's an interesting question because I was looking down the rosters yesterday. I was looking down the rosters yesterday at all the teams that had made it last year, right? You got teams like Atlanta that just barely snuck in. You got teams like Cleveland that just missed it because of the play-in. When you look at all these teams, you really have 9 teams that could theoretically fight for a play-in spot, and obviously only 8 spaces. Out of the teams that I was looking at that I really don't think is going to make it, as much as I love the Chicago Bulls roster, when we seen all this stuff about Lonzo Ball, he not going to be healthy. Who knows how long that setback's going to put him. They have absolutely no bench depth outside of, I guess Alex Caruso might even be starting. I would assume it was all right, but he's still a young kid. They have a very, very great starting lineup, but I feel like it was kind of lightning in a bottle last year, and that still only got them to the 5th or 6th seed, whatever they were. If a team was going to fall out, because I'd be shocked if Cleveland doesn't make it, I could see it be the Bulls.
Yeah, same question, Stone, but you can't say the Bulls.
Man, maybe Atlanta. I'm just going to – I know they got DeJounte Murray. That's going to be a fire combo. But, I mean, it just feels like every year they have, like, injury problems. It's just really – I feel like they never have their full team together. I see Kevin Huerter out there playing without Trae Young. I see Trae Young, playing with people I don't know. Just doesn't make a lot of – I mean, they're just always banged up. And I don't think DeJounte Murray's ever played 82 games. I might be wrong about that. But I think they're in trouble in that regard.
Okay. So we got one for the Chicago, one for Atlanta. George, you can't say either one of those. Give me a team with the biggest potential to miss the playoffs.
For me personally, if I can't choose the Hornets because they didn't really make it last year, they made the play-in. The Hornets aren't going to be anywhere close to it. But if I'm picking a team that was in the 8 last year, I'm going to go with the Raptors. There's really not many teams I can choose from now. At the end of the day, the Raptors are the only other team that are too young. They might not take that leap. Who knows what's happening up in Canada? We don't know anything about them. They could take a massive leap up and prove me wrong, but they're the only other team I'm thinking of now that maybe are too young to really, make a big impact, and maybe that could affect them in a really strong East.
I guess I don't know. Like, I want to say Miami. Like, I'm just being perfectly honest with you, bro. Like,
I bet that's.
Go ahead,
I bit my lip. I was going to say it. I mean,
like,
if Jimmy gets hurt, let's talk hypothetical. And like, worst case, Jimmy Butler's like my favorite basketball player ever. But like, let's just say he gets hurt. You're going to tell me that team makes the playoffs without him?
Max Strus averages 40 a game at that point.
Without Jimmy?
Without Jimmy, it's just pass him the ball. Let him score. Do whatever he needs to do.
Who's going to get the ball across half court?
Gabe Vincent.
Listen,
so we're going to have Gabe Vincent.
My thing is, like, I don't think in any like real life scenario Miami misses the playoffs. Like, I don't think in any real life. But if we're talking about teams with like biggest bust potential in terms of teams that made it last year, Miami is right up there with the top of that list of like, look, they are still a very good team, but a lot of these teams are very good teams. Chicago is still a solid team, even considering all that stuff. They have a big potential to miss, but Miami feels like a team that was already kind of like maximizing everything that they had last year in order to get what they got. They're going to have to do it again. Like, in real shit. Like, we're talking about Darius Days and Caleb Martin starting at the 4. Like Miami has to maximize everything from everybody on this roster in order to get what they need to go. And like I'm starting to wonder whether or not they can do it. So I still want to go through some of these individual players and kind of get like what we think we're going to get from them. And I want to turn it to op number 1, Duncan Robinson. That bitch, I don't expect shit. I'll just start there. I don't expect a bitch ass thing from Duncan Robinson. If he gives me anything, and I do mean anything, literally, I will be happy with what he does, bro, because I expect 0 from that fuck. Let's start with Stone. Stone, what are your expectations for Duncan Robinson this season?
I mean, like floor-wise, I would really like to see him be a floor spacer in the bench unit. It didn't make any sense to me that he was playing 2 minutes in these playoff games. I get like he wasn't playing very good, so that makes sense. But, you know, I just would like to see, like, when you make these subs, like you expect to give up more points. So I would like to see him out there spacing the floor for some of the other guys on the bench. And then we can kind of get a better evaluation of like, okay, wow, maybe Herro should be in the starting lineup, or maybe it's Oladipo, because when they have spacing around them, you know, they create.
Yeah, I fucks with it, bro. Like Stone, you also stop very abruptly when you're giving a take, bro. And I just I didn't know if you had more after that. But yeah. George, same question.
What I was reading the other day saying that Duncan's going to get every opportunity to redeem himself, this and that. How are you going to give someone that sort of, you know, green light, that green tick, and hopefully that they're gonna perform again after you benched him after a certain time, after he cracked it, after he had a sook every 5 seconds when he wasn't hitting a shot? The attitude's appalling. I don't expect anything from him. I'm going to say it again. I don't expect anything from him. They benched him for a reason. Saying they're going to try and reiterate him into the offense and stuff like that, it's a ploy. I don't know. To get his confidence up, maybe they'll try and play him 13 minutes, 15 minutes every now and again. And unless he's going to hit every shot, I don't see how he's going to work his way back into an offense where really we need what he brings, but he doesn't bring it consistently enough.
Yeah, Ant told us that we had another caller. Ant, who we got on the phone, bro?
We got Jabari on the line. Jabari, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Jabari?
Hey, what's up, Roy? How you doing?
What's up, Mr. Moore? I'm doing well, man. How are you?
All right, so yeah, losing PJ did suck, and it puts everybody else in positions that's not the greatest position, obviously. But there are some good things, though, as we know. I think Depot, is the biggest wild card on the team. If he can, I'm not saying he can pull out his old school Houston magic, but if he can get to 70% of what that was, that could be a big boost for the Heat off the bench. And you might be able to play some full court press lineups with him and Gabe and stuff to really cause problems on defense that might help deal with the issue that we're going to be a little lightened behind, or if we play Yurt or Deadman too much, that we're going to be a little slow.
Yeah, Jabari, man, I really appreciate that take. And also, like, yeah, the Victor Oladipo thing is very interesting because if we can get him to regain some of the form, then that is that is almost like adding the free agent. But we were at the same spot last year with Oladipo, thinking that if we could get him to be some percentage of himself, then we can, potentially look at him as like the missing link. And do you see any type of way that we get Victor Oladipo looking any sort of way like the former All-Star?
Certainly. Listen, this is the first actual offseason that he's had in a very long time. And he's also slept on a lot, so I'm actually glad that Jabari brought him up because realistically, everybody's saying, okay, Pat was sleeping. They signed no free agents. They made no trades. But honestly, out of everybody that was traded outside of except for, I guess, Donovan Mitchell, so everybody that switched teams this offseason, Victor Oladipo has the potential to be the best player that a team is acquiring, essentially.
Oh, my fucking Lord, spare me.
You don't like Vic? What's the problem?
I do like Vic, but to call him the second best player
on that because
shit, Jabari, you still here? You just scared the fuck out of me, bro.
Different players change teams, but they weren't all that great of a player. They were like, "Ooh, this little shiny thing we see here." Yeah, Donovan was nice, but I wouldn't give up the whole team for him. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have packed all their ass up. You can hang up on Jabari though, because he'll keep talking like he on the panel. We appreciate you calling Jabari, my boy.
Yes, sir. Listen, everybody's mad. They're like, "Oh, Pat was sleeping. They missed out on this." Who they miss out on? They missed out on a 38-year-old PJ Tucker. Listen, realistically, if Victor Oladipo can get back to 70% of what he is, like Jabari was saying, that is a monster pickup, and it could do really well for this team. If you want to,
I don't give a fuck if Jabari support the network, called in and became my number one cheerleader. He's fucking wrong, just like you wrong. Look, I don't care about Victor Oladipo getting back to X percentage of who the fuck he was, bro. I don't. And on top of that, like saying who was out there, there are still people available that Miami could have made a move on. We have assets, we have picks. We could make a move that nobody else is trying to make a move on or something. Like we have, but it's not about making a move because yes, we were focused on the pie in the sky ideas and we're appreciative of that. But the fact remains that Miami did nothing. Like that's what it is. It's like you did nothing but lose PJ. So you can't sell me on the fact of Victor Oladipo like becoming some hoo-ha, whatever starter shit. That doesn't excite me. That doesn't put Miami over the top. But I did want to give you guys an opportunity. I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about either, Holland. And I appreciate you for coming in here and commenting and participating. George, let's talk about Victor Oladipo, bro.
I agree with you in a sense as well, because at the same time, Oladipo, when we needed him, wasn't when we had problems elsewhere. The biggest problem at that point was our offense. We weren't able to keep it going. We weren't able to create offense when we needed it. That was when Victor Oladipo coming in, and that's when it was exciting. Now we've got holes at the 4. We don't know if we're going to be able to defend larger teams. Bam's going to do what he can do. He's going to do his best. But there's going to be times where that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. So regardless if you get Victor Oladipo healthy, there's other problems with the team. That's where it makes it the no signings the biggest problem. We lost PJ. We missed on Kevin Durant. We missed on Donovan Mitchell. We didn't even go to a plan B. We had nothing. We just said, "Oh, okay, we missed out. That's cool. Next time."
The boy Stone trying to like slide over so he can be seen with all these comments covering his ass up. White men don't get privileges on this show, Stone. Go ahead, George. Finish your take.
Yeah, that's my take at the end of the day. There's bigger problems elsewhere. That's why I'm not like Oladipo's going to come back and do his best, but it doesn't excite me because there's other problems everywhere else.
No, and that's I think that's kind of like the greater thing. Like it's like, yeah, if Vic does become X, whatever, that feels that solves one problem. Like we found another starter, but then you still have problems B, C, and D, and we should have had a plan B, C, and D, and we haven't had one. And Jabari, I do believe that you're right that yes, we can make an in-season trade, but right now we're talking about what we're going into the season with, and right now we have more questions than answers about this roster and kind of where they can go. Stone, I want to get your opinion on Vic, bro, and where, like, are you one of those people who believe that if Vic is 80% or whatever he was, then he's the answer?
I don't know that he's the answer. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's just like a really frustrating basketball player to be a fan of. You watch him do like 6 things really, really well, and then he's going to do something like just so bozo-like that just blows your mind. You can't believe someone would be so dumb to make that basketball play. And that can get like frustrating. But what he gives you that no one else on the team can give you besides Jimmy, so you can get to the rack. That opens up Bam's game. But I mean, that's just like the biggest point, like what you were talking about here, is like it feels like we have this puzzle and we don't have the right pieces. I mean, that's how I would describe it. It's like we're trying to fit, round pegs into a square hole, and it's just it's tough out here. And what's really tough about it is when we don't have someone tall to play the 4, it takes away from the special things Bam can do on defense, and that's what's really, I think, what's the most upsetting to me about the way this team's constructed, because he's going to have to just bust his ass to guard 5 players.
I'm not looking forward to that. Like, I'm not looking forward to this team's defense. Yes, we're going to have several kind of like good defenders, but there's going to be a blaring weakness, and I think the size is going to be it. Like, it's been that for years, and it's going to continue to be that. And we got another call on the phone. After this, I kind of want to give Ann a break from like taking calls because I want him to talk.
Yes, we do. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Barely, I want him to talk, but like, I'm sorry.
Caller, go ahead and introduce yourself. You're on the line.
Hi, this is Anthony. I'm a first-time caller to the show. I have a question, guys. how much legitimacy to the reports that apparently some of these superstar guys that we were trying to trade for maybe declined the trade to Miami because of the fact that Pat Riley is a dictator in terms of how many practices that these players have to go to and stuff like that. The culture of the Heat can be varied, and that's the reason why PJ Tucker didn't come back to the team and stuff like that. Is there legitimacy to these reports, or do you think it's BS?
So listen, I don't want to give you any kind of delusions like we're insiders. I don't know shit about what happens inside of the Miami Heat organization. My narrative is greater than whatever truth they decide they want to put out. So I just get on here and make shit up about what I think, and then I just go with that, bro. Like, I don't know. I do know that Jermaine O'Neal said something about that condition.
Your honest opinion.
My honest opinion, yeah, I do believe that has a lot to do with it. People like PJ Tucker, who's going on 38 years old, does not want to be coming into camp trying to be at 5% body fat. That does not appeal to somebody like that. And it doesn't appeal to somebody like Donovan Mitchell. It may not appeal. I don't know if it does or does not, because a lot of players do want to work hard. But it may not appeal to some of the higher echelon players to come here and be told, hey, you're fat and you're going to do things our way and you're going to essentially have no control, when they can literally go to any other organization and have all the control.
Hey,
so that
Kyle Lowry kept eating.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. But I'm just saying, maybe that culture shit, like, yeah, it sounds good, and you want all your players to buy into something like that. But I'm not sure if most players want to be subjected to kind of that strenuous like regimen in the latter parts of their career, especially some of them in their prime. But I don't know. Maybe you guys have somebody different. Anybody on the panel think differently than that?
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I think with PJ Tucker specifically, like, just weigh the options. I mean, Miami's great, and I'm sure he would have been fine coming back to Miami, but now he's flying around the country on Michael Rubin's private jet, going to parties with James Harden. I mean, like, would he rather be doing that or waking up with Jimmy Butler at 3 a.m. to get to practice? I mean, it's just like, I understand it, but at the same time, I don't know that there's this like I don't think, look at Donovan Mitchell. He was in Miami doing Miami Heat workouts with Bam Adebayo. I mean, I think he wanted to come here. I truly believe that on his part.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And you think the Miami Heat culture scares players away?
I certainly do. And to that I say, I don't want you on my team anyways. Look what happens when we get a bunch of fat bums that don't want to buy in, like Dion Waiters. They give you 2 good weeks. They make you fall in love with them. And then they go ahead and buy a Alaskan California king-size bed to rest their fake injury on for 3 months, man. Same thing with James Johnson. The man was a team captain. Then he put on a ton of weight too. If you can't buy into the Heat culture, I don't want you on this team. I think players realize that this is a winning organization. And if they are an older guy in their career and they haven't won yet, I think they look at Miami and say, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but clearly that's what it takes to win. Heat culture.
Let me push back a little bit, Ant. What would you have that same opinion if the player would say Kawhi Leonard and not Dion Waiters? Like, if Kawhi Leonard said, I want to come here and I want to load manage for 30 games a year, are you saying no to him because you want guys who want to grit and grind?
Absolutely not. Come over Miami Beach, baby. But there's levels to this, though, man. And also, too, I think Pat Riley learned his lesson. He very clearly let LeBron walk because LeBron wanted too much power. He wanted his boys running the show and everything. And I'm sure LeBron didn't want to work as hard. And Pat Riley said no. And to this day, I honestly believe he's regretting that. So I think if there was another star like Kawhi or even KD that wanted to come down to Miami, I don't think Pat is saying no. But for everybody else, the lesser guys of the league, even if it was Donovan Mitchell, who's young, if you don't want to work, I don't want him on my team either. I don't think that's the case with him. I'm just saying if it was, because there's a reason why this team has been so successful. And I believe in the Heat culture. At least I buy into it.
Define successful, Ben. We ain't won a championship since 2013.
Okay, are you getting greedy now? They've been to the finals once, and they've been one shot away from the finals another time, man.
I want to win a championship every year, and I'm with Ariel. Pat Riley didn't let LeBron James do shit. LeBron James decided what LeBron James was going to do. I think one of the reasons why we have you here is because you present a perspective that not very many inside of the network share, and that's kind of like it's the voice of the other kind of fan. Like, you prefer that people come in here and buy into the Miami Heat way of doing things, and I don't give a shit if the player comes over here and wrecks this entire facade of a fucking culture as long as they win me a championship. I would like talent. That's what I want. That we weren't missing culture last year. Everybody in here bought in and we got our ass kicked. Like, I want a motherfucker who's going to come over here and win me games. Let's go back to you, George. Culture or talent? Like, are you with Ant where you're saying like I want a guy who's going to buy in, or it's like fuck that shit. Let's get a player.
If the talent is big enough, then fuck it. I don't care. Because if you like you said, if it's Kawhi Leonard and he says, "Oh, I don't want to wake up at this and that. I don't want to do this and that, this PR crap," and fuck the culture. Then I don't care. If it's Kawhi Leonard talent, then accept it. Except he's not going to do the things that he doesn't want to do. But if the players like PJ Tucker, you're not going to go and grossly overpay for somebody just because they were good for 1 year. He's 37, moving to 38. You're not going to pay him $11 million to do what he did again. He doesn't want to buy into the culture. That's fine. He doesn't want to do it. That's fine. But if players are coming here and going, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do that. Like you said with Donovan Mitchell, maybe he didn't want to do all that stuff. Well, then sometimes you're going to have to make an exception. Win games. Then the culture comes.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a good line because Ant said he wouldn't have done it for Donovan Mitchell. Like, no. He wouldn't allow Donovan Mitchell isn't the level of talent that he would bend the culture for. Stone, is Donovan Mitchell the level of talent that you would have bent the culture for?
Would have bent it in half. And I like the culture. I like the idea of it. But, I mean, when it comes to talent, you got to – I look at it this way. Would Donovan Mitchell be a top 3 player on the team right now? Yes. How does he not make the team better? He could be smoking joints in the fucking practice facility and telling Pat Riley to go, to the retirement home or wherever he's going, and it would not matter. I mean, it just like we don't have a player with athleticism on this roster that isn't Bam Adebayo, like that can dribble the basketball. Bam can't even dribble the basketball. So it's just like, we need someone that can dribble and get up. That's how I feel about it. And I got a hypothetical for y'all. If there were a 15-point per game scorer at home right now you could have for the vet men at guard, would you sign him no questions asked?
15 points per game at the veterans minimum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can get on the roster.
All right, then I need y'all to put. I need y'all to put some. I need y'all to put some respect on my guy Dion Waiters' name, please. Thank you.
Okay, so listen, I think this is a good point, Jabari. You need talent that buys in. Yes, you do need talent that buys in, but you need the requisite talent to be able to compete too, bro. Like, you can't just have all people that buys in. We had talent that bought in last year, and that's what I'm saying. It wasn't enough talent. We had more than enough people that bought in. And
Chris Silver bought in.
You know what I'm saying? Kyle Guy bought in. And
Mario Chalmers.
You watch your dirty mouth. You watch your dirty mouth. You leave me out of this.
But listen, though, you got guys that buy into the culture system all the time. And I think we got a lot of that. And a lot of people are endearing themselves to the players that we have because all of them have to fucking buy in because they're undrafted nobodies without the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat made a lot of people that are on their roster. Sometimes Miami needs a player that they did not make and who does not need Miami. That's what I'm talking about, bro. One shot from the finals, my fucking ass, bro. Right. You were also 3-4 games from out being the 5th fucking seed, Jabari. And I don't want to argue with you in the goddamn comments, bro, because I just had you on the phone. But, bro, like, that one shot in the final shit, bro, that shit is last season. This is a new season. We are approaching training camp. Get that shit out your head. This is not the same fucking team. And they're not going to have the same circumstances. Everybody around them got better. They did not. That's the reality of the situation. So talk about the team as it is, not how you want it to be.
Stone brought up a good point. He was talking about a scorer off the bench, maybe someone that smokes a joint or two. That being said, if Michael Beasley wants
to my fucking God, get out. I have had it with this man. I have had it, bro. There's enough people on this network that say ridiculous shit for you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all see why they're rookies, bro. I need vets around me so that I can have somebody to balance this out with, bro. Is this what it feels like? This is what whoever goes to the goddamn Memphis Grizzlies is gonna feel like. He's gonna be with a bunch of fucking children. and I hope it's Jimmy Butler at this point. So thank you guys in the comments as always for joining us, making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to our sponsor, who I forgot to mention the entire thing. We want to thank the primary sponsor of The Basement, which is Simple Health Advisors. Ladies and gentlemen, insurance does not need to be complicated. You can email them or give them a call today. Email my guy, James Poe, at jpoe@simplehealthadvisors.com, or give him a phone call at 321-345-7738. Thank you, Simple Health Advisors. But yeah, man, these children are going to stress me out, so I need to end this stream. Want to thank my guy Stone. Want to thank my boy George. George, this is your first stream, right?
It is.
Well, congratulations on breaking your cherry, my boy. We're looking forward to much more work from all of y'all, except for Ant, who is going to kill me before I kick him off this network finally. But yeah, we'll see y'all next week. I think next Friday, we're going to do some streams with the Kane game. We're going to get them boys on here. We also going to get some of the vets back on here so that they can all warm up for the season as well. So yeah, play the video, Ant.
Yeah, we packing somebody up tonight. Hey, come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat pack in the air. We about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the Trey, yes and no, friends and the foes, the Butlers and the Herro. You can feel it in your soul. But when the ring is the goal, but if somebody